this episode of Inside Bremerton. It's 1 for the money and 2 for the show. We're going inside one of the city's most recognizable landmarks, the Admiral Theater. Find out how this historic icon is transforming into one of the Northwest's elite performing centers. Go behind the curtain, see what the staff is cooking up, and there's even a little bit of history. It's 3 to get ready. Inside Bremerton starts now.
Welcome to Inside Bremerton. This is the City of Bremerton's video newsletter, focusing on issues and topics important to its citizens. We are in the beautiful Admiral Theater today. Guests of Nathan Murphy. Nathan is new on staff here. Joining me today is Chad Haight. Chad, how you doing?
I'm doing just fine. How are you, Char?
Good. Chad is the Director of Operations here at the Admiral. And what does that entail, being Director of Operations?
Well, I'm still figuring it all out, of course. I'm pretty new since February, but it's basically the overall management of the theater, its staff, as it sort of implies, the operating of the theater itself. So I have my fingers in a number of those pies. I'm involved with HR, with the finance, and the planning. I work very much in conjunction with the executive director and the rest of the staff. We're really a very team-based operation.
Right.
I just have that particular title.
What's your background, Chad? Have you worked in theaters?
You know, I did not have a background in performing arts, except that I was the lead in Tom Sawyer operetta in 6th grade. But I was involved for most of my professional life in publishing. I founded and ran Sasquatch Books, a book publishing company in Seattle, for 25 years or so.
Interesting.
And I found a lot of similarities between that sort of creative enterprise and performing arts.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Let's give the folks a snapshot of staff here. Brian Johnson, Executive Director. Brian has been here for quite a few years.
15 years he's been involved with it.
Was he the former Director of Operations?
No, he was the former General Manager. Tim Lavin was the Director of Operations who preceded me.
Okay, so let's keep going. So there's Brian, yourself.
There's Nita Hartley, who's in charge of development and fundraising.
Awesome person.
Nate Murphy is in charge of marketing and publicity.
Excellent.
Tammy Browning is our graphic designer and sort of general office administrator.
Stop right there.
Okay.
As we talk about Tammy, I want to make sure folks see this the booklet for this upcoming season.
That's Tammy's work.
It's Tammy's work, and I had a chance to look at it before we sat down. It is very well done. It is very different. It is sharp, crisp, very clean, very, very nice. How do folks get their hands on these?
These are available at our box office. You can stop by and pick one up, or you can give us a call and we'd be glad to mail one to you as well. And
if you've been a previous guest, you're probably getting this in the mail.
That's
is that
right.
correct?
We did a mass mailing about a week or 10 days ago to get ticket sales moving. But even more importantly, you can go to our new website, Admiral Theater with an R-E at the end, .org. And it's
all there.
Totally revamped and it's all there. It's a beautiful website.
Have we finished with it? Oh, let's talk about Ted. He's on staff.
Ted Ness is our
chef.
He is our chef and he's our house manager as well. He's fairly renowned. He has 18 years of experience in French cuisine and catering, sort of fine foods, and he has just so elevated the dining experience at the theater. We're really proud to have him here.
What a team. Some new faces on the team, some faces that have been with the Admiral for a few years. We want to mention Mark at the front line.
Mark Metzger.
Mark Metzger, who's going to be changing his life and moving out of this area.
We are very sad to say, but you know, Mark has been one of the steadiest presences here at our box office. He's worked here for 5 years and he's moving to California, unfortunately, so we're replacing that position here soon, if it can be replaced.
If you can. All of us know the importance of your person at the front line, and Mark is that, and he is awesome. Cheerful, happy. Out in the community, he'll see you and go, "How you doing?" Huh?
Exactly right. He knows everybody.
He knows everybody. He makes the connection,
Right.
which is extremely important. And we wish Mark all the best.
Absolutely.
Great team here at the Admiral. Great team. Now there are also how many volunteers that assist?
I also want to mention Tim Hoffman.
Oh, thank you.
Who is our technical director and really the sort of the backbone of putting these performances together. Behind the scenes guy, all the lighting and sound and everything else. He even helped make this set here today.
Yes, he did. And you could see his input on helping our camera person, Ben.
And we have a stage manager named Tricia Gala.
So she's back here making sure
behind the scenes work
everybody's
too.
handled.
I would say everybody on the staff is indispensable here. Coordinates well together.
Well, and everybody works well together, and that's a big deal.
It's one of the things that make working here so nice.
Nice.
It's really very people oriented.
Excellent, excellent. So let's do a little history of the Admiral Theater. It is, as most of us know, it was an old movie theater.
That's right.
Let's talk about the past.
Okay. Well, it was originally started in 1941, and as you may know, that was the heyday of movies in America. They were just emerging. It was only in the 30s that we actually got talking movies, but by the 40s, it was the primary form of entertainment. And they were building big movie palaces all over the country. And this was no exception. It was quite an institution here. It was one of the last theaters that was allowed to use steel in the walls and whatnot. And in fact, our marquee was the last place that uses sheet metal. Before the war effort, they disallowed that because they needed all that to make planes and tanks and everything else.
Wow.
So it has a little war history too. I think it opened in 1942. I think the first movies were about a nickel. If you can imagine that.
And popcorn was a penny.
That's right.
I mean,
that's right.
Back
that's
in
right.
the day when popcorn
and I'm sure that was very expensive too at the time.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
So also the Admiral is in the backdrop of the shot of President Truman.
that's right. In
When
1948, he gave a
right.
speech just across the street where they say the phrase "Give them
hell,
hell, Harry."
Yep. That's right.
Came out of the crowd that day, and it stayed with the campaign thereafter. Yeah.
So what year was it that the theater actually closed to movies and actually shut down?
It's around 1989, and it had gone through a bit of a transformation. At one time, it was a triplex here.
Correct.
And the balcony had been sort of walled off to make two other theaters upstairs. But
Hard to imagine.
Yeah, they tried that for about 8 or 9 years, but apparently it had some financial concerns by then, closed in 1989.
So thus arose the foundation or the groundswell to redo this theater.
That's right. The Admiral Theater Foundation was formed in 1990, and they put a campaign together, which was a combination of sort of bringing a performing arts center back, but also the revitalization of Bremerton itself with economic development. And the two went very, very hand in hand. And they developed a campaign over the next 7 years that raised $4.2 million. And were able to substantially renovate this place. What you see now is not anything quite like the movie theater was. They had to widen the stage and the walls, and a lot of the decor and everything else is very much new since then. It was a huge effort, and it was enabled in part by the discovery of a gentleman named Ray Shepherdson, who was fairly well known around the country for renovating performing arts centers, and had figured out ways to do it that were less expensive. I think that the foundation had been staring at a $16 million price tag before they discovered Ray Shepherdson, who managed to do it for that 4.2 million.
No kidding.
Yeah, so that made a huge difference.
And is he a local? Is he a Northwest fellow?
You know, he's
Jeff?
actually from Wheaton, Illinois.
No kidding.
So he, you know, he traveled the country, and he was very much here and invested. And some of our old volunteers and the like still remember the gentleman very well. He passed away recently.
So the theater reopened after total refurbishment, and people were in shock and awe. I mean, just mostly it was the mermaids on the wall that really got people.
There was a little controversy about that too, you know.
But now you walk in and it's like, no big deal.
You know, Starbucks, when they first did their logo, they had a mermaid, a fairly exposed mermaid, and they sort of dressed her up and finally had her hair cover up some of the vitals. And ours are very tasteful, of course, too. But
it's beautiful. This theater is absolutely beautiful, and the technology in this theater, almost 20 years ago, was top notch.
Very much so. Very much so. And it's held together pretty well. But
Right.
I'll talk to you some more about some of the improvements we have to bring to this.
Right. Let's. So here we are in the season upcoming 14-15, and we talked about the booklet and ways to access some of the groups that are and some of the entertainment that's coming this year. What's top on your list? What do you think people, maybe not a well-known name, is there something in here that you say, man, I've seen these people, or I've seen their little clip, and you don't want to miss it?
Well, there's one artist that I think is going to surprise a lot of people, and it's Taylor Lynn. And we had a chance to see her perform over in Seattle at a radio station and meet her personally. She is the granddaughter of Loretta Lynn. And so you know in her blood she has great performing talent, and she's a country western artist that I think will knock the socks off of people.
No kidding.
And she's just coming out. She's just sort of a new discovery, so we hope to help launch her into a great career.
How old is she? Do you have any idea? Early 20s,
I would
mid-20s?
guess mid-20s, maybe 27 or so. I know she has a young son and the like, and she's living in Seattle.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So
well, how convenient.
She's somewhat local too.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Yeah, she sort of divides her time between Nashville and Seattle. And I thought that was an interesting move all by itself.
Yeah,
you know?
no kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding. Well, there's all kinds of acts this year. Acrobatics, the Peking acrobats,
they are out of this world.
Yeah,
if
they're
you haven't
very
seen them
popular.
stack their chairs to the ceiling
I don't know if
and
I
they
can
climb
handle
up,
that.
it was unnerving to me just to see the clip on them. But they've been here about 3 or 4 times before.
Right.
They are very
popular.
well-regarded act.
Yeah, very
That's
popular. Right. Blues Brothers Review. That's
going to be so much fun.
So Nathan shared with me that the chef is going to be doing some food features that go along with the evening's entertainment. So I think that would be as intriguing as coming to see the show.
Very much so. Ted's a very creative chef, and he tries to line up the food with the performance and set the table as well as we set the stage.
That's just awesome.
Yeah.
So Leon Russell is on.
An icon.
Yeah, he's on my list. I will want to see him, as well as the other blues performers. And this young man named Chris Mann. Chris was on The Voice, and I am a fan of The Voice. And I remember him well. I don't remember him being on Glee, but I don't watch that show.
Oh, okay.
That's probably why.
There's a sort of competing group on Glee called the Warblers from a boys' school nearby, and they're fantastic.
Okay.
And he is one of the members of the group.
Them.
He wasn't even quite a lead there.
Nice.
So he's kind of up and coming as well.
Great.
And he has an operatic voice.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. So please go to admiraltheaterre.org.
That's right.
You can see the lineup, you can see the menus of food, so be sure and check it out. The Admiral Theater is a happening place, and to keep it happening and keep it fresh, the theater needs a little attention.
That's right. You know, it's been almost 20 years since we opened, And like any great institution, it goes through some wear and tear. And so in conjunction with just the age, but also as we approach our 75th anniversary in 2017, we've launched a new capital campaign to try to raise money to, I call it Renovation 2.0, to give it a little modern feeling.
Great.
But there's some things that we'd love to update, like our sound system. Our carpeting is still in good shape, but we know that it's going to need to be replaced. We'd like to remodel our lobby and make it a even more vibrant entry for the theater. And then there are a lot of sort of little things around the place, just paint and roof material and the like that we.
Is there a number set to the capital campaign at this point?
$1 million. So it's just a quarter of what we went through before.
Right.
Which seems to be an ample amount. We're writing grants and finding other funding resources, but we hope to do some outreach to the community, to our patrons, to businesses, and the like, just as we did before, and hopefully generate that same enthusiasm that got this place off the ground to begin with.
And as you travel around, especially cities close by ours, Edmonds, Kelso, Bellingham, all these communities have spaces like this, old theaters that have been renovated. There's quite a network.
There is. In fact, we're sort of partners in that network. We often share a lot of performing information. We find out who's going to Bellingham, see if we can't book a date with them. Very good cooperation that way.
Excellent, excellent. The Admiral Theater is a local gem here in Bremerton, and lots of great shows. Great venue, not just for shows, if you're having a party, family reunion, wedding. That's
right. We rent out the theater for all sorts of purposes and make it available to the community too. If you have a special meeting or something you want to put together, we are happy to participate with that. Yeah.
Great work, Chad. I think we've covered everything on our list. And did I forget something? Oh, nope.
No. Just that this place is still undiscovered by a lot of people.
Yes, it is.
And even my own story, I think, sort of goes to that. When I was hired for the job, I hadn't been aware of the Admiral Theater, and they invited me down for a show. And as my wife and I were walking up here, I joked to her. I said, "What if I were to tell you we could turn Bremerton into our whole nightlife?" And we laughed. And then we came in and saw Doc Severinsen, and we were blown away. And this beautiful dinner theater, you don't find that in too many places anymore.
That's
and
exactly
incredible performance. And I've just been overwhelmed by the quality of the performances since joining the staff here. It's a real find, and people should check it out.
Absolutely. Whether you're there's something in this program this year that is going to intrigue you. And people that you know and recognize, but then some folks that you're like, oh, this is interesting. I might want to check this out. Last year, just the recently completed year, for me, it was the show I missed was the Bagpipers. Red Hot Chili Pipers. I heard it was the best.
When I saw that, I thought, what in the world? And I was blown away. They were so fantastic. This very tight rock and roll band with bagpipes. And they were unbelievable.
Wow.
And
what a fun job.
It's something to stand out there at the end of every night and watch people leaving with the biggest smiles on their face you can imagine, and see how 1,000 people can come into this on a weekly basis, bring the community together, and really offer them something worthwhile. We're very proud of that.
That's really great. Please check out the Admiral Theater, admiraltheater.org. Check out the program, check out the menu, check out staff, check out a way you can get involved in helping the Admiral Theater stay fresh. Chad, thanks for your time today, and we want to thank Nathan Murphy for working with us, and Tim Hoffman and his help also. And we'll see you next time on Inside Bremerton.